I am going to relocate my computer and talk a little bit. Make sure I haven't chopped my head off again. No, I haven't. Good. All right. Like I said, I'm going to do my best to check out the comment section. And it's kind of hard for me to do sometimes because I'm talking and I just totally forget to look at the computer to see if you have any questions. I thought this would be something fun to do because perhaps some of you have been weaving for maybe a short time or for many years using 4-shaft loom and doing a lot of tabby weave and maybe lots of twill, or as I joked with Teddy, twill variations. And I wanted to share with you that you can do something different. Now this is called Swedish lace. The structure is really a Huck lace pattern. I'm going to talk about units, kind of yarn that I use, and units are groups of thread that kind of make this pattern. And what's really fun about this is that, you know, you tie up, you thread your loom, and you want to do a couple different things. You can do at least 6 different, or maybe even more, patterns with this one threading. My plan is also for this is that I'm going to, once I have my sample finished, then I will write up a pattern for other people to share as well. Well, let's first of all do 2 things. I'm going to share with you some books. Many of you probably have this book. And what I used inside, I used this particular section of the book to do some of the patterns. There are other books out there as well. The Manual of Swedish Hand Weaving, I think I saw someone trying to sell that for like $75 recently. And it has some sections on Swedish lace. I think the original version was actually in Swedish. And another book, Hand-Woven Laces. Now this one you can also explore more than just 4 shafts and lots of different laces. There are Bronson laces and some other things that look like lace. Years ago, I actually got stuck on Huck. That was the name of an article in a magazine. Loved weaving all kinds of things using the Huck lace. The only sample I still have left is 8 shaft. And I don't know if you can see it or not. This is a table runner that I still use. And it was in white. A lot of fun to do. All right, so let's take a look at the yarn I'm using. First of all, the yarn that I'm going to be using today is a cotton. It's cotton and linen. This comes from R&M yarn, a lady in Tennessee. So if you want any of that, it's a really good price. What I did is I bought it this color, but you know me, I can't just do anything in just plain old white or neutral. So what I did was I did some dyeing. The warp is dyed, but the weft that I'm going to use today is actually a commercial. So this is actually a commercial weft that I'm going to be using. It's a cotton as well. But what you can also do is, what I do is I did some dyeing of the yarn. So that's what I'm using. This is about 8/2. For me, I prefer using thinner yarn when I'm doing kind of a lace because you're skipping over so many threads at one time. If you use a very thick yarn, you're going to catch things. It's kind of like using size 10 needles with lace weight yarn. It's going to pull and tuck. So I'm using some thinner yarn. The other thing that you can do if you want to try this, I'm doing 20 inches on here. You could do something maybe 5 or 10 inches just to get your feet wet and see if you like this and use some kind of a thinner yarn. Well, that's enough of the introduction. What I'm going to do now is zero in on the loom so I can kind of share with you some more details and talk a little bit about the threading, and it's really not quite as overwhelming as you might think it is. So give me a moment, since I don't have a camera person. I'm the one-woman show. And we're going to come over here. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. I'm going to be at a sideways view, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see what I want you to see. We'll see how that works. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. Nope, I guess it's not going to work on that one. All right. So zoom in your own device, and then you can see what's going on, I hope. Let me see if I can get a little closer. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, yeah, I can get a little bit closer. There we go. knocking everything around here, folks. Well, what I did was I showed a little picture ahead of time. I've been doing some weaving with this, and like I said, this is kind of a lavender, and then I decided to use kind of a brighter shade, so hopefully you can see what's going on. Unfortunately, I think this particular weave structure doesn't really show up very well until you wash it. Anyway, that's my experience and with it. What I'm going to show you first of all, again, I hope you can see all of this, is the threading. Maybe I'll kind of turn it this way so you can see it. Now, this is 4 shafts, but there's a repeated pattern on this, and you keep doing it over and over again. Now, I did the selvages 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 because it's a tabby. It's nice to have a little edge. You don't want to always start right away with the pattern. And these are groups of 5 threads. It's usually an odd number and an even number. That's the shafts that you lift. And here we have an even number and an odd number. So they're groupings. And this little group here creates this little box here, or a unit. And the same thing here, this one will create all of these. And of course it has to do with how you tie it up. But what's nice is, again, with this threading, you can do all kinds of different patterns. And if I go back to the book, it's the best to show in color, I think. That's why I like this book. So for example, hope you can see it, you can weave all of these. Sorry about the shadow there. I see there's a shadow on there. And you can weave all of these if you want to with the same threading. Just have to change the treadling a little bit and tie it up. So that's the plan here. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to try to show you what I did already. And I need to release this. What I've already done was I did this pattern here. This is very lacy, so when it's washed, it's going to really come out. Then I did like these stripes, and that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to weave those stripes. Then I have these little boxes. They kind of look like little boxes here. And then in the middle, let me tighten this up a little bit. Then this is the next one I did. They're little, almost like a checkerboard. Let me see if I can find that one on here. So the checkerboard looks like this, the little boxes here. And again, these boxes are the units, and then you have tabby, and that's what this is on there. You can kind of see what that is. All right. My plan now, what would I do without Post-its? I always put Post-its and tell me my treadling. That's how I treadle. I don't keep this piece of paper up all the time. What I'm going to start with, or what I'm going to do next, is I'm going to do these, what I call kind of stripes happening. And I'll show you what happens. Make sure I have the right little Post-it here. Explain, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I know sometimes people, okay, I'm just looking up. People tend to just keep watching, and that's okay. All right, so right now, I'm going to go back to show you what I did on that one, if I can find it here. The boxes here. All right, let me do this. All right, we see the dark section there. That is actually that section there, if you can see it. And this was the section here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to eliminate that middle section and make some stripes. And hopefully, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to move over here so you can see the shafts of the loom. I'm going to knock some lighting down here. There we go. So let's take a look at what happens when I press. So right now I'm going to press number 1. Number 1 is lifting a tabby. 2 and 4. And, oh, I'm sorry, that's 2. 1 is 1 and 3, and 2, I have it on 2 and 4. Now let's just take a look at what happens when I press the other treadle that are tied up. Well, that you can't really see a whole lot's happening. Let's do the next one. I think you can be able to see. Look at the gaps there. Now that's what's happening. This thread, this purple thread, was going over top of all of those. And then this one was going over the center. I realized when I did the demo, you couldn't see me weaving. So what I've done is I've added a little extra in, a little short video to show you what I was doing. You can actually see the weaving happening. This time with this particular Huck lace pattern, I'm doing the tabby, and then I'm going to do one of the lace ones. It's 3. So it'll be tabby, tabby, and then 3. It's kind of hard to see here. Just to let you know, this is what's happening. They kind of look like a little row. So far, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to next do another one. I have to see where my feet were on this. There we go. So I'm going to do, it's 2 and 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. I'll do one more. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, and 1. As you can tell, I always beat on an open shed. So now you can kind of see what's going on a little bit better as to that particular pattern. And then I did another structure. So I'm going to go to that one next. So the next one that I did, and again, you could not see me doing the actual weaving, was this pattern. And this one, hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit better on this one. This one's going to have some threads that are overlapping. They go underneath and overlapping. And technically, if I would flip this whole pattern over, the fabric over, you would see the same pattern in reverse. And in this case, I am going to be going up to lift those threads, which I think I showed you before. So it'll be these two. This really section, since I only have 6 treadles, is 5 and 6. I think I was saying 7 when I did the actual recording. All right, so let's see what happens with this one. Again, I need to see where I started. I was on the 2 there. I think I want to be on the 1. So I want to be on 1. Whoops, maybe not. Okay, that is 1. Okay, we're on 1 right now. 1, and then I want to make sure that I'm in the right shed here on this one. 1 and 6. 1, 6, 1, 2, 1. I'm going to go again, 6, and 1, 6, and 1. Now it's 2 and 5. 2, 5. 2, go back to 1, and 2, a little transition going on there. 5, 2, 5, 2, and I go back to 1. And hopefully you can see what's going on. If I would put this here, this little box is this one, and it's kind of hard to see the other one, but it's like kind of almost like a checkerboard. And this one, when it's washed up, will be really lacy, be a lot of lace in it. You won't see any plain weave in between on any of those at all. So I wanted to do a little demo so you could actually see me weaving the patterns that you couldn't see in my live. It's easier to swivel the loom in this case. This is the larger loom, but and let me get the shadow out of the way there. How's that? Except for the shadows. There we go. How's that, Margie? Does that look good? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwind a little bit more of that like I did earlier so you can see what's happening here. One of the things when you're doing all this on your own, we're all trying to find the best angles that we can. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little unraveling this way. So you see the one stripe, then you can see the little boxes. You can see a little bit more. And the plan is to have this as my center and those on the other side. What I'm going to do, though, actually just going to keep weaving the same pattern. You don't have to do all these changes. What I like is that you can just keep on doing a whole, maybe a table runner with that, or a whole table runner with this, or a towel, or whatever you want. Again, this is Cottolin. It's really nice. It is about 8'2", but I give you an idea of what it kind of looks like in different samples and so on. And my plan is then to actually wash it, and hopefully within the next, maybe the next few weeks, I will have some of the samples ready for you to see what they look like. So, now I'm going to try to reorganize everything. Thanks, Patty. Yeah, it is kind of hard to do all of these things and kind of get them the way you want them to look. So anyway, all right, I think I'm just about finished. I am going to say hello to everyone again, or say goodbye to everyone. Oh no. All right. Okay. All right, let's take a look and see if there's anything else. Oh, ends per inch. I forgot to say that. Good question. This one was 20 ends per inch because it's an 8'2" yarn. And I used to do it with, whoops, I'm off the camera here, aren't I? Here we go. Let's move me so you can see me. There we go. What I did, my initial, when I was a new weaver, I used a lot of 5'2" mercerized cotton and made clothing out of it. I made some tops out of the lace and also some table runners. And I think I set the 5'2" at 15 ends per inch, and it worked out very nicely. I think the sample I might have showed you was from that particular time period when I did that. And I think as we get more comfortable with weaving, you're going to try some thinner yarn if you can. But anyway, that's what I did with this one. Again, my plan is to have this all machine washed up for you. I won't be seeing you at any of the events because be at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. I'm out dyeing up a storm right now. My hands are a little purple for some dye I just did. So again, thank you everyone. I'll try to come up with an idea for next month. If you have something that you'll be interested in me doing, maybe I will be able to get a loom ready for it. If not, I'll come up with something for next month. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a, whatever you are, whatever time period you are, the rest of your day, or for us on the East Coast, it's almost time to tuck ourselves in over here.